Warning, this site uses cookies. Dear Santa, due to GDPR regulations, we are required to inform you that this house uses cookies and require that you accept them before leaving presents. Of course. Welcome to Tales from the Jar Side. Welcome to this week's edition of Tales from the Jar Side newsletter. This week we'll be talking about 5 years of the newsletter and off by one airs, 1 year and 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, some issues, and I mean that as a pun, with Substack, and a holiday edition of Tweets, Toots, and Skeets. The subtitle this week is My Biggest Fear is Being Trapped in a Small Room with Santa Claus. I have claustrophobia. Yeah, that was really terrible. I do apologize. Let's move on. Welcome, fellow jarheads, to Tales from the Jar Side, the Cousin IT newsletter for the week of December 17th through 5th today, Christmas Day, 2023. My name is Ken Cousin. This is my weekly newsletter, and I hope you enjoy it. This week, I taught week 3 of my Spring and Spring Boot in 3 weeks course on the O'Reilly Learning Platform, and I got to teach my Practical AI Tools for Java Developers course as a no fluff, just stuff virtual workshop. That was fun. The regular info message is that regular readers of and listeners to, and of course, video viewers of this newsletter are affectionately known as jarheads and are far more intelligent, sophisticated, and attractive than the average newsletter reader or listener or viewer. If you wish to become a jarhead, there is a button on the newsletter itself. The newsletter is hosted at kencousin.substack.com, and the entire archive is there, which I'm going to talk about shortly. Let's do our quick check-in on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel here says that I have 1.02 thousand subscribers. The actual number last time I checked was 1,020, which, hey, cool, that's great. I mean, I passed the 1,000 mark. That's a significant milestone. The most important, the new technical video this week is this one called Gemini and Java, Quick and Easy. And this involves using Java to access the new Gemini AI tool from Google. Let's go back to the newsletter and take a look at some of that. So the somewhat tongue-in-cheek but somewhat honest commentary here about off by one errors is that I did go through the archive of the newsletter, Tales from the Jar Side, and I found that the first issue was sent on December 30th, 2018. So I was going to wait until next week in order to say, hey, wait, look at this, it's 5 years of the newsletter. But every year I do that, and every year I go, wait a minute, does that mean that next week's newsletter is the first newsletter of the new edition, or is it the last one of the current edition? And therefore, which one is the 5-year anniversary? And therefore, I thought I'd bring it up this week. So I'd normally wait, but I didn't. At the turn of the millennium, as I recall, people were saying we should celebrate on January 1st, 2000, and other people said, no, there was no year zero, so we should be celebrating on January 1st, 2001. And of course, my attitude then and now is we should have a party on both days, because why not? If you're going to be pedantic, at least make it work in your favor. Either way, it has been, in fact, 5 years of this newsletter every Sunday, and I listed the years there just to make sure I counted right. For those interested, the subscriber count of the newsletter, it says it's 2009, but the last time I checked, it was down to 2007. So maybe there's something in the newsletter that drove 2 people away. So you let me know as we get through it. Let's move on to that video I was talking about. Now, I did say I checked the videos on the video channel, and the first video, which was a recorded newsletter, came out on December 23rd of 2022. So that is a year ago minus, 2 days ago was a year on that one. So to celebrate, which of course had nothing to do with this at all, I published this new video, which is part of my AI Tools from Java playlist, and the video is entitled Gemini AI and Java Quick and Easy. See, I got my twin robots there for Gemini. I assume one's Castro and one's Pollux. And, of course, they're drinking coffee. Java, get it? Sorry, that should probably get a rim shot, shouldn't it? Yeah. Okay, moving on. So it's all about accessing a RESTful web service with Java code, and here's my normal process. If you want to see all the details, they're in the video. But first, you have to get an API key and set it up as an environment variable, and I counted that as step 0. Which, yeah, you always have to do that. And hey, I'm a computer science person. We count from 0. Then you find the incoming and outgoing JSON request and response, and you map them to Java records. And I used AI assistants to come up with a set of Java records that worked. Then I set up the networking by using Spring and Spring's HTTP interfaces, which make it really easy to set up. There's a couple of beans you have to organize. I decided to organize the REST client so I could make sure to submit the API key and the accept and content type headers as required. And then there's another bean that's largely boilerplate that tells Spring, hey, take that interface and generate an implementation class and write all the code for me. And it does. Then after you've done that, you might have to customize some of the mappings from the JSON data to records. And what you do is you use annotations that come with Jackson, because Spring includes the Jackson JSON parser right inside it. The one I had to deal with is converting camel case attributes in Java into snake case, underscores in JSON. Finally, I took that interface and injected it into a service so I could make it easy for users to invoke the service just by sending in text or sending in text and an image. And then the service took care of preparing the actual Gemini request, making the call, getting the Gemini response back, and extracting the results out of it. So it all works. And here's my big test case, the one that always uses the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy question. What is the ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything? And of course, the answer should be 42. I'm not even going to give that a rim shot. I mean, that's just, we know that now. And of course, it worked. As anyone in IT knows, according to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, ... sorry for the spoiler for the book published back in 1979. Now, I didn't have this in the video, so this is exclusive to the newsletter here. I asked all three of ChatGPT 4 and Claude AI and Gemini this other unrelated question, but also rather silly. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? GPT-4 was right on top of it. This is a rhetorical question from the song Blowin' in the Wind by Bob Dylan, which it is. It is not meant to have a specific numerical answer, but rather to provoke thought about the journey and experiences that shape a person's life. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, I have no idea. It was a silly question, it should get a silly answer, but that's not too bad. Claude 2.1, sometimes it would give me an answer, sometimes it would reference Blowin' in the Wind. This time, the time I did it while I was writing the newsletter, said I do not have enough context to determine a specific number of roads a man must walk down. The notion of proving one's manhood by walking roads or undergoing other trials and experiences is subjective and cultural. Without more details about the exact meaning you intend behind this metaphorical question, I cannot provide a definitive quantitative answer. That's a little harsh. I mean, you could at least play along, right? But okay, fine. And I think I'd rather have that than what Gemini did, because Gemini said 4. One word answer, 4. And it meant it. I mean, I get that repeatedly. Which to me, that suggests that somebody at Google anticipated the question and hard-coded in the answer, and they thought it was funny. Or they thought that a questioner asking that question deserved this kind of answer. But isn't that just the most Google thing ever? Everything in Google that they do makes me think, okay, they get it, but they really don't get it, do they? They don't. But all right, so be it. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. And I'd say that'll stay in your head for a while now, that song reference. But for all I know, if you're under the age of, 40, 50, you may not get that at all. And if you do, I've got other song references that'll drive it out. My video also showed how you could upload an image and ask a question about the image. So I needed an image, and I used DALL-E 3 to generate this picture of a robot, and my prompt was draw an image of a happy robot leaping with joy after solving a tough coding problem. Now, DALL-E 3 really likes to rewrite your prompts. So in the caption here, I have the rewritten prompt, which just adds a lot of detail to it. A robot is surrounded by lines of code floating in the air, ... So at any rate, I added this to the project. I uploaded it by transforming it into a byte array and then into a base 64 encoded string, and submitted it as a Gemini request and said, describe this. And Gemini came back with The image shows a small happy robot jumping in the air. The robot has a silver body and a blue screen on its chest. It's surrounded by computer code, which is true, although not terribly helpful. And that's kind of my experience with Gemini Pro. It's true, but not terribly helpful. Recently, I had a friend who was traveling and took a picture and sent it to me as a text message and said, "So, where am I? Can you guess where I'm located right now?" And I took it, and here's the picture, and I uploaded it to Gemini, and I said, "Can you tell me where this picture was taken?" And you want to see an answer that's true and not helpful? The answer is, the image appears to show a campus-like setting with Gothic architecture, reminiscent of various universities, especially those in the United States, the United Kingdom, but without any specific symbols, signs, or distinct landmarks. I don't know. And yeah, okay, yeah, it looks like a school. I'll go along with that. And many universities throughout the US and UK, yeah, way to narrow it down. Oh my goodness. Now, what my friend later admitted is that this is actually a picture from Princeton University. Now, I spent 4 years at Princeton during, as I described it here, the late Mesozoic era. It was back 84 to 88, I think, roughly. Okay, I'm glad I uploaded it, but it didn't really tell me much. So all the code is in the GitHub repository. You're welcome to take a look. That's the GitHub repository that is at github.com/my-last-name, KOUSEN, /Claude if you're interested. So you're welcome to take a look. That same GitHub repository has the Claude access, the same type of stuff I did with Gemini. I just decided to combine them both into one Spring Boot application with test cases so you could pick whichever one you want and run the two together. Now, of course, the other big news that happened about the YouTube channel I already alluded to, you could argue I'm bearing the lead here, is I crossed my 1,000 subscribers mark. In order to become a member of the YouTube Partner Program, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours over the previous 365 days, over the previous year, not calendar year from when you're measuring. Now, there's a limited partner program that would only require 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. But regardless, I've got the 1,000 subscribers now. My watch hours is somewhere around 1,150, maybe a bit more than that now. In other words, I'm nowhere near 4,000. From what I understand, the way it tends to work is that you build up this big catalog of videos, and then one of them sometime goes viral, if you will, and a lot of people like it, and they go, well, what else does this person have? And they watch a whole bunch of things, and then your watch hours skyrockets because of that, and you have one or two of those and you hit the 4,000. Who knows? We'll see. I'm going to go at this for at least another year, so I'll let you know. Yay for round numbers. Okay, let's talk about Substack. Now, this newsletter, my newsletter, is hosted on Substack, and Substack has gone through some drama recently. Now, I came from a place called Tiny Letter, and I'm kind of glad I left. Nothing against Tiny Letter, but I saw a message recently that I think they're being acquired or they're going away or something like that. Maybe it's partly because so many people left it. I don't know. But I joined Substack because a couple of the writers that I follow, Craig Calcaterra and Will Leach specifically, adopted Substack. That gave me the incentive to try it out. And the thing about Substack is that it's free until you turn on pay subscriptions, at which point they take, I think it's 10% of the subscription fee. That's in addition to Stripe, who charges you like 2.9% fee on each sale. Okay. But this may all have to change. Craig Calcaterra sent out a message a week ago that said he signed onto a letter sent to the owner of Substack, Hamish McKenzie, asking why they were platforming and monetizing actual Nazis. Now, there was an article in The Atlantic, that magazine, entitled "Substack Has a Nazi Problem. The newsletter platform's lax content moderation creates an opening for white nationalists eager to get their message out." And it's everything you would expect. So Craig and several others put together a letter called A Collective Letter to Substack Leadership, Substackers Against Nazis. And here's the letter itself. Dear the owners and everything, why are you doing this? And quoting from the Atlantic article and going on about how this is violating this, that, and the other, moderation policy or behavior or what have you. Okay. And then this week they got back a response which Craig Calcaterra listed Substack's response to Substackers against Nazis sucks. He didn't like the response. And the response, as you can kind of see here, was, yeah, we don't like Nazis either, but it makes us money to platform them, so we're not going to censor anybody. You know, it's like, now they didn't say it quite like that, but that's the bottom line. It's a typical Silicon Valley tech bro type of answer that, hey, if it makes us money, you know, then we'll stand for free speech and defending them, and let's defeat this in the marketplace of ideas, like it's ever okay to be tolerant of intolerant people. No. Nevertheless, Craig Calcaterra hated that answer, and he goes on and on about how this is going to be awful and he's going to be looking around. And I'll keep an eye on what he does. Now, my take on this, I have two things I want to point out. And one is that, first of all, since I don't have any paid subscriptions at the moment, I'm using this service for free. I've got a baseline newsletter subscription volume of over 2,000 newsletters every week. 2,000 email lists. The list is going up to 2,000 subscribers every week. And therefore, I'm costing them money just by being here. And I'm not making them any money. And I guess that's a good thing, right? I mean, they always want me to turn on payments. And I do have Stripe connected, but I haven't asked for any money yet. So I can partly justify or maybe just rationalize my being here by saying, hey, I'm costing them money, and any other real email subscription service would cost me money. I'd have to pay for it. The other perspective I mentioned here is that if you acknowledge that those right-wing jerks are going to be somewhere on the internet, you could try to deplatform them everywhere, but it's not going to work. It's like playing a game of whack-a-mole, and they're going to wind up somewhere. I mean, I'm glad it's not my job to try to track that down or prohibit them. I can try to prohibit them from anywhere I am, but I don't have control over the whole web, obviously. And if you figure, well, all right, what's the least offensive or least problematic place to put them? I think private newsletters rank pretty high on that list. I mean, if it was a public web page, anybody could stumble onto that, and then you've got to worry about who's going to see it, who's going to be going to have problems with it. If it's a video channel, you're going to wonder who's going to get shown those videos, and isn't that terrible and all of that. But a private email list that charges for it, I mean, that's the complaint, is that they're making all kinds of money by publishing their just awful vitriol to a bunch of subscribers. Well, I'm not going to run into somebody's paid newsletter by accident. I'd have to go looking for that. Or somebody would have to forward it to me and me accidentally read it, and that's not real likely. And if they're all just going to be publishing for each other, well, so be it. I mean, I guess let them all, scream into the void as far as I'm concerned. It's about as walled off as you can get. Now, I admit, this too is sufficiently self-justifying as to arguably be a rationalization. I get that. And therefore, I am going to keep an eye on what Craig finds and where he might want to go, etc. And at some point, I am going to have to consider putting in a paid subscription. Just to let you know, if I ever do that, the Sunday edition, which is what you're seeing now, will remain free. I'm not going to change that. I may add a couple more a week and restructure how I'm doing things, but there will always be a free edition of this. And of course, the YouTube channel, I have no control over that. And when I get to the level where I can charge for that, then I'll burn that bridge when I come to it. We'll see how that goes. Let's move to the good stuff, which is the tweets, toots, and skeets, especially for the holidays. So this one, entitled The Red Light, is a rewrite of the lyrics to the Police song Roxanne. And since I don't have the range of Sting, I mean, who does? I'll drop it an octave or something. Rudolph, you don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Yeah, Rudolph, you don't have to wear that nose tonight. Walk the streets for cookies. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. I mean, it's awkward for me to do a cappella when I know I'm in the wrong key, but hey, I mean, if all you're trying to do is make the smallest number of changes you can to Roxanne and put it into Rudolph, then hey, that kind of worked. It's not perfect. Not all the lines work great, but good try. It definitely fits in with the theme running around the Rudolph story of any disability will be tolerated if it can be exploited. Not to mention then the boss forcing you to work with your bullies. There's a lot of awkwardness to the Rudolph story, but let's move on. This one was posted by Stephen Pastis. I don't know how he pronounces his first name, actually. The cartoonist who's been writing Pearls Before Swine for many, many years. He said, hey, Pig, thanks for playing mini golf with me. Sure thing, Ann. But this course is a little different. How so? Well, they try to control the pace at which people play. So don't putt until you see the red light flash. Oh, and rocks sometimes blow onto the course. In that case, you don't have to putt when you see the red light. You can wait till someone clears them off. Great, so I'll just wait till that red light flashes? No, not here. Why not? Rocks, and you don't have to putt on the red light. Yeah, and then there's Rat on the cartoonist's desk saying, this might sting. And he replies, don't stand so close to me, right? Yeah. Which is another highly problematic song from the Police, of course. That's the one based on Lolita by Nabokov. And wow, he really liked his awkward stuff. I mean, Every Breath You Take is a stalker anthem, right? Okay. Moving on. This is the one I started the newsletter with today with the cookies, but I noticed they're Oreos, so I would certainly accept that condition, no problem at all. This is the result of that cookie monster and the gingerbread man with the nice little reference to Alien there. Disturbing, but funny, so moving on. This one was very clever. The Flintstones dancing at what looks to be a Christmas party with a tree and the hats and everything. And the question is, seriously, what are they celebrating? I mean, they're supposed to be prehistoric, right? Yeah, okay, moving on. This one says, work hard and play hard. This wasn't Christmas themed, although I guess I'm on quasi vacation now. But yeah, that hits a little too close to home for me. Absolutely. I spend way too much time in front of a computer. This one says, 4 stages of a man's life. You believe in Santa, you don't believe in Santa, you are Santa, and then you look like Santa. And all I can say is Santa has a lot more hair than I do. So, I'm wearing the hat again this week to try to cut down at least a little bit on the massive glare on the forehead. Although my son does inform me that wearing my own merch, see, it's got the Cousin IT logo on it and the Cousin It character and everything. Wearing my own merch is arguably cringe, according to him. So feel free to let me know if you agree or disagree. Some parenting advice for the holidays is wrap empty boxes and put them under the tree. Every time your kids act up, throw one box into the fireplace. Yeah, that would be horrible. I saw this meme go around without the box in parentheses, just said throw one in the fireplace, and the question below it was, what if I run out of kids, kind of thing. Yeah, okay. This one, it's a miracle, and it's Mary presumably saying, Jesus, honey, anybody can turn water into tea. Well, yeah, if they have tea bags. I mean, who knows? I don't know what else went on here. I have questions. Here's some decorating advice, a lazy way to win at Christmas decorating. I think I can magnify this one, actually. You see there's Yoda with a Santa hat and a lightsaber and a couple of downed Jedi, Santas, whatever else that might be in that picture. Yeah, that's a very clever way to do the decorating. I think that was very good. This one saying climate change is real. Santa and presumably Mrs. Claus at the North Pole, which is this tiny little island at this point, saying maybe I should have been giving all the naughty kids solar panels instead of coal. I don't think it would have mattered, to be honest with you. And then this, in Eggshell Sees Deo, it's how many syllables does the word Gloria have? So, of course, it's Gloria. Yeah, 18. So I said I wasn't going to count, but yeah, it really did work. And my wife verified it. So, okay, there you go. Hope you have a nice holiday, regardless of whether you are religious or not, or what religion you happen to celebrate. I'm very happy to have you here. I'm having a great time with this, and I will continue. So please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of the future editions, and I will see you all next week. Let's play that theme song.
Hey there, it's time to tune in to Tales from the Jar, so let's begin. Java, coming in spring, oh my. Be glad and don't be shy. Tales from the Jar side, oh yeah. Crack open the code, let's take a ride. From design patterns to the latest trends, your weekly tech toast that never ends.